What's up YouTube, this is Tien bringing you a build guide update for Elemental Hit in patch 3.6 Synthesis League. I want to talk a little bit about my experiences in 3.5 Betrayal League, as well as talk about some of the patch notes that just came out for Elemental Hit and what I think of it moving forward in patch 3.6. So there have been some changes, some nerfs to Elemental Hit and Ascendant in particular. The Slayer's sub-ascendancy has changed. It's less good. You no longer get the damage while leeching. You get a little bit of area of effect, which doesn't really matter. The Leech changes are in, and it's very complicated, but the short version is that Leech is now worse, and you need to switch up your playstyle a little bit more in order to hit more often and get more damage. This really matters for bosses that have like immunity phases. Think like the Chimera smoke phase, or maybe Uber Elder during those phases where you can't hit certain things. And right as soon as those immunity phases end, you need to make sure you attack in order to keep the leech going and flowing. So there's going to be points of vulnerability where previously you could leech through the whole thing, and the second you take damage, your health rubber bands back up. In terms of leech amount, if you're playing an endgame version of the build with like 8,900 or 8,000 to 9,000 health, your leech will go, instead of about 6,000 life per second, it's going to be, assuming you have all the instances of leech up, it'll be about 4,000 life every second, just rubber banding back up, which is still pretty good. The damage is still the same. I think the only unique that got touched was Tomb Fist, and you lose a little bit of attack speed there. Still going to probably be the recommended glove for the build. I also want to just answer some questions that I'm going to get, that I've been getting in the thread around why my path of building is different. So my path of building isn't necessarily my recommended version of the build. It's just whatever the latest version of the build I've played was. And I think currently it might be like a Magic Find version of the build. Definitely check the full written guide if you want to check out what my recommendations are, what the skill tree recommendation is. All that's going to be updated for 3.6. But yeah, the POB is just whatever I played most recently. And if I play it in this upcoming league, which I do plan on doing, I might do a different version. I might do like Frostferno, for example, just to mix it up, just to do something slightly different. And that's something I do as a content creator, just because, I've played the build so many times now. I've played it pretty much every single league. I still think it's a great choice in 3.6, like I said, for endgame content. Here in the background, I think I'm doing Eradicator, and you can see I'm just face tanking with Slayer Leech here with my high HP build. The second question I get on the forums a lot that I kind of want to answer is, how did you craft your bow? Does the weapon matter that much? I will say that the weapon does matter, like most attack builds, weapons, they matter in terms of like attack speed and stuff like that. But it's not like other attack builds that really want like high elemental damage or high physical damage. All you really care about are the gem levels. And so, getting a +1 or +2 or +3 bow is good. It's important, but maybe not as important as having like a whole bunch of physical damage if you're doing like a physical build or something like that. The fossils I use to craft my bow are corroded, metallic, serrated, and jagged. Those are the ones that kind of lock out the most amount of mods and kind of try and force the skill gem rolls to go on there. With the new veiled mods that you can craft, +2 support gems, which is kind of a rare one. That one is just as good if you use Empower as like +2 bow gems, or +2 fire gems or whatever. So that's just something to look out for in terms of the new veiled mods. In 3.5, I really enjoyed the builds, with the new veiled mods. There wasn't anything too crazy in there. I thought maybe attacks with this weapon penetrate resistances as a veiled mod might make its way in. But I didn't really see anything that good. As far as the synthesis stuff that's been spoiled so far, I haven't seen anything that really catches my eye right off the bat. Maybe some defensive stuff like physical damage taken as an element, could be nice from a defensive perspective, especially if you're, running some defensive ruby flasks or something like that. So just keep a lookout for that. Anyways, that's it for this build guide update for Ellie Hit. Good luck in Synthesis League if you choose to play the build. I do recommend that it be your second character unless you're really experienced in terms of leveling up a Scion and, getting those combat focus jewels, trading for those in like a trade league or something like that. It could be hard to start with Scions. Scions are notoriously pretty hard to level, and in general, they don't get a lot of power from like their first ascendancy, when they first ascend. So just keep that in mind. Anyways, thank you guys for stopping by, and I will see you guys in the next video.